Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a homeschool day in the life. It is a Monday morning. It is 7:30 in the morning. So far, my oldest has gotten up, taken care of herself. She has done her chore for today, which is dishwasher. I'll turn you around and show you what that looks like. Shared the kids' chore charts before, so my oldest has already done the dishwasher. She's having breakfast right now. That is her other chore, and when my 6-year-old gets up from her nap, she will pick her 2 chores for the week. So the first thing I do is I make lunches, and I've talked about this before, how I make lunches for the kids even though they're homeschooled in the morning. That way they can just grab it when they're done, because they tend to finish their work at different times. So it just makes it easier for me, less things to do in the afternoon. So I'm going to show you what they're having for lunch today. Alright, so these are the lunches. I have plenty of lunch videos on my channel. I'll link some above. These are the Planet Box lunches, and this is the Bentco lunch. So this is my 6-year-old, 9-year-old, 2-year-old. So they're having, so my 6-year-old is having butter and jam because she doesn't like peanut butter and jelly. We have carrots and ranch, and the jam is right here. Get this from Costco. The ranch I get from Kroger. My youngest and I have a dairy intolerance, so this is dairy gluten-free. Tastes exactly like ranch. They have organic blueberries, oranges, and then a different array of pretzels. My 6-year-old prefers the regular. My oldest prefers the roasted garlic from Aldi. So my 9, almost 10-year-old, she requested an egg cheese cream cheese sandwich, so I put the cream cheese and the cheese on there, and then I will make a egg for her when it's lunchtime because she likes the yolk in it to be warm. Same stuff, she's got the roasted garlic pretzels. My 2-year-old, he has joined us for lunch now since his nap schedule has changed. She tends to nap after lunch, so I make his lunch ahead of time as well. Carrots, blueberries, pretzels, and he has peanut butter and jelly, and that is his ranch in there. And then for the treat, both my kids will be getting Starburst. And this is the homemade bread I make. I'll link that above. You can do it in the oven or in a bread machine, but it just makes more sense when you're gluten-free to do it that way. I didn't mention my youngest daughter has celiac disease, so everything in here is gluten-free. Now, as far as homeschooling goes, we actually won't start until much later. On Mondays, we have story time at the library, and that starts at 10 a.m. So we will most likely do that at 10 a.m. We'll be done around 11. The kids will come home. We'll have lunch. And then we will start homeschooling. So homeschooling probably won't start till between probably 12 today. And that's completely fine. That's the nice thing about the flexibility of homeschooling. One thing I did want to point out about my videos is I don't actually share my kids' faces or names in it for their privacy. I don't really share that, which makes my homeschool day in the videos a little different. So I will show you what they work on. You'll see me, but you will not see my kids in the video. Same thing with when we go to the library. I'm not obviously going to film other people's children's. That would be rude. It is now 7:50. My 9-year-old is done with breakfast. She's getting dressed, brushing hair, doing all that stuff. She will have free time until we leave around 9:45 for the library. My 6 and 2-year-old will eventually make it downstairs and have breakfast, and the same thing. Right now, what I do between 8 and 10 is I don't actually eat breakfast early in the morning. I take medicine for my thyroid, which I have to take on an empty stomach and can't eat for an hour, which actually works really nice because during this time frame, I will take care of my chore for the day and start a load of laundry. If I start it now, by the afternoon, it should be ready for the kids to fold and put away. So I will take care of those 2 things. So you can hear my oldest is practicing Jingle Bells on the piano right now, but for breakfast, I'd show you what we did real quick. So my 6-year-old just got up. She's gonna have eggs. My 10-year-old, almost 10-year-old, already had eggs and yogurt. She's gonna have eggs, yogurt. This is the yogurt we use. For my youngest, who's dairy sensitive, this is what we use. And I just put a little honey in it. My 6-year-old does prefer sprinkles in hers, and you gotta be careful with sprinkles and gluten-free. These obviously say gluten-free. Eddie Crocker is a good brand that I recommend. Now that it's 8:30, it's time for me to have breakfast, so I'm going to have the leftover squished eggs from my oldest peeling them. I will have a couple dates and a cup of yogurt as well. But that will be breakfast, and in about an hour, we're gonna leave for the library. So something I've been trying to do personally for myself is play the piano every day in practice. I'm trying to learn piano. I will link up above the kind of instruments we have in our house, but recently, the past couple months, we've gotten a piano. So I have a bunch of Christmas music here, and I will just go through the songs and practice, because we have about a half an hour before we go to the library. Perfect time to fit it in. All my chores are done already, so now it's time for me to do my work. It is 11:06. We just got back from the library. The kids are washed up, having their lunch. I'm currently making my oldest over easy egg for her sandwich, but I figured I would show you what libraries the kids picked up, or library books the kids picked up. So we'll start with a stack from my 6-year-old, so a lot of witch books. Hercules, Wizard. Like I've said in the past, she's very into mythical and magical things, so this is right up her alley. The nice thing about going to the library on Monday is I can get whatever books I need for the week as well. And her last one. And then for my 2-year-old, this is what he picked up. He picks up books too. Uruguay, and then a book on Paraguay. And then I always try to get the newer books, so they had a lot of new Hanukkah and Kwanzaa books, so I picked up a couple of those. Ones we don't own. We do enjoy reading about a bunch of different celebrations that happen in December. So those are all books we don't own, and then my 9-year-old just picked up one book, which is this one. So I will not actually have lunch right now. Like I said, I ate an hour later than the kids, so I'm not really hungry. I will probably have a cup of tea and a snack before we start school, but that is about it. While the kids are having their lunch, I will take care of this big stack of dishes. This was from the dishwasher this morning, stuff that wasn't quite dry yet. That will get put away, and then I will take that load laundry that's in the washer and put it in the dryer. I think it's important to talk about, when you do household things in homeschooling, how it gets done while you homeschool. So that is what I will take care of now, have my snack, then we will start school. It is 11:30, so my oldest is about to start her work. So I have a schedule up, video on that, how that works. The only change we've made here, she's not doing IEW, she finished that, she's doing Lightning Literature. And then math facts, she finished all of her multiplication division math facts, so I think she's good for now. We're not continuing that. So she will do her math, which she's doing a workbook page today, so she does not need me to teach anything. If she has questions, she can ask me. She will do her health, which is this Harcourt book. Again, I have it tabbed here, and all she does for this is reads the chapter, and then we'll do discussion questions together, and sometimes I just read through the chapter and ask her questions, but just basic information that I think is helpful for her to know. The last thing she'll do is vocab, and again, this is already pre-marked. So she'll read the story today, she'll read her definitions, and then she'll do one page of this, and then tomorrow she'll do this page. So this is typically how her schedule goes, except on Mondays it's a little different because of the library. When she finishes those things, and again, I'm here if she needs any help, but she can pretty much do all this independently. And we will go through questions with health together. But after that, she will start Lightning Literature. And when she's ready for that, I will show you how we do that for her. One thing I do typically before we get started is, this is my desk here. I will put the diffuser on. Now this is a diffuser I got off Amazon. I'll link it down below. What's nice about this diffuser is not only does it have time settings, but you can change the color of it. So I put it on green because I'm currently doing Christmas tree, and then you can direct the amount of air or mist coming out. But these are what we're diffusing. Currently I'm doing Christmas tree. I use Plant Therapy. It's like a cheaper version of Young Living, but still great quality. And I have gingerbread and winter wreath. Now I don't keep these on my desk, obviously, because of my 2-year-old. They actually go on the bookshelf up here, away from his reach. But it does set the mood. We have the Christmas tree lit up right now. And I've shared, how I plan. I'll put a video of that up ahead. This is our St. Lucia craft we made last Friday. So I'm keeping this out because we're supposed to be making peg dolls on Friday. So she will get started with that. The mood is set. It is 11:37. My 6-year-old is getting out her handwriting. This is what she is working on. Again, these are just printed for you from Core Knowledge. She finished a chapter in Singapore Dimensions Math, so she will be starting her test, and I will read the directions for her and she'll answer the questions. That is what we'll do with that. For her all about reading, she's doing a fluency sheet today, so front and back. And what I've done with that is I find it's much easier for her to read this when I transfer it on here, so she can be more mobile while she's doing it. She can walk around, she can turn, she can twist, whatever. It's easier for her to read if she can be moving her body, so that is what we will do for that. So while she continues to do her handwriting sheet, my oldest is doing her independent work. My youngest is currently watching a show. All my kids get a half an hour on their tablet every day, and he prefers to watch 2 things on his tablet, either Bob the Builder or a Amazon kids show called Stinky and Dirty, which is about construction equipment and what they do. So he's currently watching Stinky and Dirty for a half an hour while we work on this. So while she's doing this, I'm going to transfer these words onto this, and when she's ready, we will move on to the next thing. So I didn't mention that my youngest daughter, I have her work in the dining room while my oldest daughter works in the family room, and that's just easier because they work better separate, less distraction. So she just finished her writing, so now she's going to move on to math, and like I said, she's doing a test this week, and I will read the instructions. What I will do here is I will write the date because I do keep this as part of her portfolio. We're not required where I live to do that, but I think it's a great demonstration of what she's capable of doing, and I do keep this on hand for her. This is from Handwriting Without Tears, just in case she forgets how to form certain numbers, because sometimes like the 3 will end up backwards, so this is just a reminder for her. So she just finished her test. She did miss 2 questions, and one of them was she had trouble sounding out the letter or the word 6, so I'm not too concerned about that. She miscounted on one of these. But what she really does enjoy, especially in Singapore, are the kind of riddles. What number is greater than 4 than less than 8? So figuring out that, she does very well with that. So I'm really pleased with her score in this, and it shows me that she learned the concept well from this chapter. We're now in our living room. This is the room that has the TV. That's my dog right there, sleeping. We'll do a close-up of him. He's sleeping. He's 13 years old. So my 6-year-old prefers to do her reading on the couch or on the chair, and it gives her room to wiggle. Mm-hmm.
Just
Leap word.
or
4, very good.
Me.
Just for me. Mm-hmm. He lost. Duh. Say it again. What is it? Lid. Very good. It is 12:10. My 2-year-old just finished his tablet time. So he's brushing his teeth, took a potty turn, now he's gonna lay down for his nap, hopefully. And then I'll continue working with my older girls. Right now, my 6-year-old is reading. If she has any questions, I told her to ask my 9-year-old because she's sounding out words right now. My 9-year-old can completely help with that when she's done with the work she has to do. All right, well, my 6-year-old practices her reading. I can hear her in the other room. I'm gonna check my 9-year-old's math real quick. We're gonna go over the reading she did for health. We're gonna do a discussion for that. I also need to check that before she moves on to lightning literature. So I just finished going through all this with my oldest. It is 12:30. I am setting her up to do her lightning literature. And I really like that at this age it's becoming really independent. So I read this part with her together, kind of introducing the book. I marked off what she had to read, but it tells them right here. This is a book told through poetry. So we went through that. So she'll read the pages. She'll answer these questions independently. I will check them over. And then I gave her the option of doing this together or independently. She would like to do this part independently, so she's going to learn some poetry terms. This is not her first introduction to this. We went through it with Lightning Lit last year, so it's kind of more of a review to her at this point. And then she's going to do some of those vocab matching that she just read there. And then we will do the composition work together. And while she's doing that independently, I will finish up the reading with my 6-year-old. All right, so it's 12:54 now. My 6-year-old finished her reading and is now looking at books for just a break. And my oldest currently finished her reading. She filled out kind of like comprehension questions. I checked those over. We talked about them a little bit. She read this and did the grammar matchup, so the vocab review. Now she's doing the compositional work, which is this and this. She has to choose, she's going to be writing a poem. She has to choose a topic for a poem, and then she has to write at least 3 nouns, verbs, adjectives describing that poem. She's going to take that, choose words that would create good imagery, and from that, she's going to take those words and find a rhyme for them. So that is her assignment for today. So that is what she is working on. A few more minutes, I'm going to start core knowledge, language arts with my 6-year-old. All right, it is 1:05 and we are starting core knowledge for my 6-year-old. This is early American. This is from the grade 1 language arts unit. So on the Fire tablet, I have the image cards brought up on here. Then on my Samsung, I have the teacher guide pulled up so I can read from here and she can look at the books. But I'd like to point out that this beginning is just for the teacher. It's telling you the objectives of this lesson. It's telling you the vocab at a glance, what you have to do. I find that really useful information, but for most people, I mean, you don't have to even bother with that. This is your core lesson. So you're going to start by talking about this. We're going to talk about who this is a portrait of. And we have some questions that go with that. And then we will have some comprehension questions, some image card questions, some word work, which I really like. So talking about what this word is, the definition, using different forms of it. And then we'll give an example. Is this an example of that word or no? And that's all we will do for that part of the lesson. We'll do 8B, the second part of the lesson, tomorrow. Since the lake surrounding the city is a saltwater lake, there are aqueducts that carry the water from the freshwater lake into the city. The aqueducts carry the water over the bridge. Once over the bridge, the water is distributed throughout the city to be used for drinking and other purposes. What do you think they use water for besides drinking?
Crops.
Yeah, they got vegetables if they have gardens and things like that, farming. The water from the aqueducts makes up the whole city's water supply. It's quite amazing to see. So do you think Cortez, the Spanish explorer, was impressed by the Aztec city? Order has been established and is well kept in the city. The people of the city are very friendly and courteous to one another, and behave much in the same way to the Spaniards. I found this most surprising because of how different they are and the city look from ours. So the people are nice and helpful to each other, making the city a peaceful place to be. and everything seems to work well. He seems surprised by this. Why do you think he's surprised by it? Why is Cortez surprised by it?
Because they're not sitting like that.
Yeah, they're very different from each other. All right, next page. So is this a big or a small city?
Big.
Would you like to visit this city?
No, I only want to be in Italy.
Why wouldn't you like to visit this city?
Because I don't want to.
Okay. All right, so the word we're going to go over today is the word enormous. Do you remember what enormous means?
Huge.
Yeah, something that's really big. So the boy's suitcase was so enormous he couldn't carry it himself. So I'm going to describe something or say something. I want you to tell me if that is enormous. A mouse.
No.
An elephant.
Yep.
The United States.
Yes.
A whale.
No.
An acorn.
No.
Our house.
Some houses are small, some houses are big.
That is a very good point.
Some houses are long, some houses are short.
That's very true. It could depend on which house you're talking about.
Sorts of different houses.
Depends on your perspective, right? It is 1:20, so it is time for group work. So pretty much torchlight. So you can see here, and again I have a video of how we use torchlight. This is our read loud. We will not do this until 7 o'clock at night. I find that's just a better time to do read aloud and to use this chunk of time my youngest is sleeping. Best to our use. So we will do history. We're going to read or listen to the audiobook of chapter 31. And then we have a Fantastic Failures. We're going to read about a specific person in that, and that will be it. So let's start with our Advent calendar. Again, I have a video talking about what we're doing for Advent. This is a free resource, so we're going to find 5 today. Today is December 5th when I'm filming this, and we're going to see what it is. Alright, so I've talked about how sometimes they're prayers, sometimes it's scripture readings. Today it is a hymn, so we're going to listen to this on YouTube really quick. I think it's best because, one, I can't play the tune on the piano, not quite yet, but also to hear the lyrics and the piano together I think is really helpful, so we're going to listen to that real quick.
As the dark awaits the dawn, so we await your light.
So we finished that short Advent study. Now we're going to move into history. So we're going to listen to the audiobook of chapter 31, and that is all about pirates. So we will follow along in the book while we listen to the audio version. And then after this, we will go through all we do for this, and this is in the student guide, I believe, for Curiosity Chronicles. We'll do the comprehension questions, what do you think questions. During the read aloud or the audiobook, there's a option of things they can do. They can do a word search that goes with the chapter. They also have coloring pages that go with the chapter, or they're welcome to just sit and listen, or they're welcome to do Legos, something to move their hands. And then I will break up the activities we do throughout the week, because we will do 2 chapters. This will be the second chapter we do later in the week, separate coloring page, all that. But for each week, it comes with different activities you can do. So I've already gone through this. I do this in my 6 weeks on, 1 week off. That week off, I plan what we're going to do. So this week, we're going to learn about a drum warning system, and we're going to learn about salsa dancing. Neither of those are going to happen today. They will be spread throughout the rest of the week. As you can see here, we will do salsa dancing tomorrow, and then we'll do the drum warning call when we read the second chapter, because that's the one that goes with that chapter. So that is what we're going to do right now.
16, the Caribbean. Chapter 31. Here there be pirates. Yo ho, yo ho, it's a pirate's life for me. Hold on, me hearties. Today I'll be guiding you through the history of pirates.
Aren't pirates just legends like Captain Hook and Long John Silver?
Hook and Long John are fiction, but today is all about actual historical pirates.
So let's go over our questions. So the audio clip was about 12 minutes long. So what are privateers?
They're they're pirates.
So why were they pirates?
To plunder cities and towns so that people didn't know, so that they didn't get their captain in trouble.
So why did the golden age of piracy begin?
Because people wanted to steal people's gold and trading.
Yeah, so what happened to those privateers when they were fired? What did they become?
Just regular people.
Regular people or pirates? They turned to piracy because they were no longer being paid by the government. Pirates. What was life on a pirate ship like?
Hard.
It was hard? What was hard about it?
Weird. Because they had to do all sorts of jobs to get the ships ready.
Mm-hmm. Was everyone equal on the ship, or did people have different places?
Different places.
Different places? Were they all treated equally?
Sometimes. Yes.
Can you think of an example of when they were treated equally? So were women, we've talked a lot in history about how women were treated differently in a lot of circumstances. Were women treated different on pirate ships?
Nope.
Nope. What about people of different color or race?
They got to run pirate ships.
Can you remember one of the famous pirates they talked about, or what that pirate did?
Anne.
Okay, why was Anne a famous pirate? Anne Bonny.
Because she and her husband stole lots of pirate ships and conquered at least 15.
Oh, that's pretty impressive, right? You don't often hear about female pirates, do you? Why do you think you don't hear a lot about female pirates?
Because people don't want girls running the ship.
They want to talk about girls being in power, right? What do you think it would be like to live during the age of piracy if you were a pirate?
Scary.
Scary? Why would it be scary?
Because there were people over trying to...
People constantly trying to kill you. That'd probably be a little scary, right?
I wouldn't even know what to do.
You wouldn't know what to do as a pirate? Probably what your captain told you to do, right?
I wouldn't know what means because they would have to give me more details.
Alright, so the last thing we have left is Fantastic Failures, and we will be reading about Rosa Parks today. It is 2 o'clock now. We just finished Fantastic Failures. I have to say, I really do enjoy this book. It talked about not just the simple story that everybody hears that Rosa Parks was tired and she told the bus driver no, that it was so much more than that. So I really do highly recommend that book. On top of that, before I even started reading, my oldest was able to summarize Rosa Parks and the importance she had in civil rights and the impact she had on Martin Luther King Jr. And it was one of those moments in homeschooling where you're like, I'm getting it right. I'm doing the right thing. It's working. So that was nice to have that little glimpse today, that she was able to connect things we've learned about and know about injustices in the world and the importance of not only Rosa Parks, but Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement, to have it all come together. It's one of those awesome moments in homeschooling. With that being said, we are done for our main work today. Like I said earlier, at 7 o'clock we will do our read aloud. But right now I'm going to have lunch, and I'll show you what I'm having real quick. So like always, I'm just having leftovers. This is what I usually do. So we had chicken and rice last night, so what I'm gonna do is I just mixed it together and then I added this. Really, really good. Like I said before, we are gluten-free and then I am dairy-free as well. This is really good buffalo sauce, and then this is dairy-free and gluten-free as well. So I combine them, that's gonna be my lunch. If I'm still hungry after that, maybe an apple, but I'm pretty sure this will be filling. So after I'm done with lunch, the kids are currently folding laundry and putting that away. Before they're allowed to do tablet or TV time, again, they get 30 minutes on the tablet, 30 minutes on the TV. Before they do that, they're required to pick up any toys or things they had out, put their schoolwork away, and the rooms have to be picked up before they can do those things. And they have to fold that load of laundry that I started this morning. So they're working on that, and then they will have the rest of the day free until 7 o'clock when we do read aloud. But for me, I will eat, and then I will take care of the dishes from lunches. They're, as you can see here, their lunch boxes are here, so I will have to rinse those out, put them in the dishwasher, but that's pretty much the bulk of our stuff today. Do you like my 90s oak cabinets. I feel like this is important to point out because I feel like in a lot of these videos, everybody has these like super nice, white, shiny, renovated kitchens, and I think that's awesome. And one day I hope to renovate this kitchen, but I think it's also important to show that not everybody has a perfect kitchen. For example, yeah, you love that paint job that the previous owners did. Not the greatest, and really dark laminate countertops, but I think this is probably more realistic for the majority of people. I don't think we're all living in white kitchens with shiplap, is that what it's called? Or subway tile. But this is also completely normal too, to have 90s kitchens. Like, you guys have seen my fridge. Like, they don't make many fridges, I think, like this anymore. Pretty sure this fridge is as old as me, and if you notice, I have really old laminate flooring that's all scratched up too. But I just wanted to show that really quick, because hey, if you're in that group of people without the shiny kitchens, there's more of us out there than you think. So a little side note with that. But thank you for following us along. Again, I will update when we do our read aloud tonight. So we are finishing with our read aloud. So we are starting Peter and the Starcatchers, which fits nicely because we're talking about pirates in history right now. I believe this is like a prequel to Peter Pan. So we're gonna read the first, and this is just an ebook here on the tablet. So we're gonna read the first 4 chapters of this, and then we are going to go over the discussion questions with that. And while I read, the kids just did a bunch of Legos on the floor. So that is a typical Monday homeschooling day for us. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. If not, thank you for watching.